What's good, everybody, man? Welcome into the Bluebloods here, official podcast of FCS Football Central. And we continue our FCS NFL draft spotlight this offseason. And we are joined by Northern Iowa defensive lineman Khristian Boyd, 2023 FCS All American selection, two-time Missouri Valley All Conference selection, and was selected as the Defensive Player of the Week this season at the Shrine Bowl by the Pro Football Network. Man, Khristian, appreciate you joining the show, man.
Oh yeah, appreciate it, man. Ready to get to it.
Absolutely, man. Listen, I guess Northern Iowa, I want to start here, has done an excellent job of preparing their guys to the next level, man. I've talked to guys like Benny Sapp. I talked to my guy Woo Governor, man, who's also going into this upcoming NFL draft. What separates Northern Iowa from other programs, man? Like, give us the behind the scenes of how every year they churn out guys who are ready to go contribute at the next level.
Well, it starts with Coach Farley. He tells us at the beginning of the year, there's no secret pill to get you to the league, man. It's putting in the work every single day, having the mentality of, I'm gonna go get it, taking care of your business in the weight room, outside of football, during in the training room. It all accumulates, and you just got to have a different mentality playing at Northern Iowa.
When you look at your career at Northern Iowa, man, you redshirted your first year and then slowly worked your way into like a full-time starting role those final 2 years. When did you feel it clicked for you, man? Because you went from redshirt guy to immediately all conference and then this year all American. Talk about your development at Northern Iowa just for you as a player.
I think it really started my second year at UNI, 2019. My redshirt freshman year, I wasn't really playing at the beginning of the year, and then one of the older dudes went down, and then I came in and started the last like 4 games of the season, including the playoffs, and I was productive, and I feel like after that it really started to click, and then some circumstances happened, like I got hurt in 21, and I kind of wasn't the same player, and you could tell if you turn on the film. And then, I feel like I always had a chip on my shoulder for that, for sure.
Okay.
When you just look at the defense overall, man, Northern Iowa from defensive line to secondary, man, y'all's defenses were loaded. Talk just a little bit about the defensive coaching staff, man, and just how competitive practices were because you guys had a lot of offensive talent when you got to Northern Iowa as well, and even with Theo Day and those guys, how competitive were the practices between the offense and defense?
It was really competitive. There's dudes on both sides, battling every single day. The defensive coaching staff, we had a great staff. We had Coach Farley, who's basically our defense coordinator, and then mixed with JJ, who's also our defensive coordinator too. Those two was like a two-headed dragon, controlling the defense. And then you have a Hall of Fame coach like Coach Pop, or Hall of Fame player like Coach Pop, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Just learning from dudes like those. Uh, you know, it's just you got to bring it every day at practice. And the offense understood that too. And they had dudes over there, and it was a great battle every day at practice.
When you look from true freshman year to the guy I'm talking to now, getting ready to head to the NFL draft, what's the single biggest evolution in your game?
I would say, just taking the weight room more serious. I've always loved the weight room, but now, like, I understand that you got to be in there 3-4 times a week during the season, doing as much as possible as you can to get an edge over the competition. And, I feel like that's really what took me to the next level the past 2 years. I took that seriously, especially coming off injury in 21. I had a chip on my shoulder. I had something to prove, and, I feel like I did that.
When you look at that injury in 21, I think a lot of people kind of overlook the mental battle when you know you should be on the field and you know you can't go out there and play. What was your recovery process? And do you think that kind of was the springboard to like your breakout season when you became an all conference selection?
Yeah, for sure. Watching dudes practice and play, and I'm sitting there and not being able to do that. It just builds up tension and builds up a want to be back out on the field. And I definitely that hurt not being out there with my guys, who I bled with, who I sweated with, who I started with. And you know and then when I got back on that field, I knew I had to take advantage of it.
When you got that when you got that Shrine Bowl invite, man, talk about what you wanted to accomplish throughout the week and just your decision, because I know you had a Hula Bowl invite, a Shrine Bowl invite. I'm sure some other All-Star games reached out. What was your decision process and what postseason All-Star games you were going to play in?
Yeah, Hula Bowl was really the first ones to reach out to me, or at the end of my season, and they said, I was maybe gonna get invited there, and then they're still looking at other dudes, this, and that, and then I end up getting it right after the season, and then, and I knew I should have had the Shrine. I feel like I was a Shrine Bowl watch list type of dude, and I feel like I had the type of season, to where I deserved the invite, but I went to the Hula Bowl, did my thing there, did well there, and then I got invited after the second practice to the Shrine game. And I knew that that's one of the best. That's the second best All-Star game. It's gonna be a lot of NFL dudes there. So I and my mentality going into that week was every rep I'm gonna try to dominate every chance I get, and I feel like I did that and I accomplished that.
What was some of the feedback you got from teams, man, on stuff that they loved about your game, but also one or two things that they wanted to see you improve on going through the process?
Oh yeah, they always talk. They talked about my get off, my power, and when it comes to pass rush and my bull rush, my power moves. They definitely said they want to see me, not get reached as much because I got reached a few times at the Shrine game, which I knew I shouldn't have. I just had to make a minor adjustment in my technique, and then I didn't get reached the rest of the week. But and then just working more finesse moves in the pass rush game just to see like my some more of my game. But besides that, I mean, yeah, and then they said that staying low, my leverage was really good, and stuff like that.
Did you get a chance to interview with all 32 teams? And if not, how many teams do you feel like you interviewed with throughout the week?
Well, throughout the Shrine week, I talked to most teams at the Hula Bowl. I probably talked to like 20 teams at the Hula Bowl, and then I feel like I talked to the rest of them at the Shrine game. So I'm pretty sure combined in both weeks, I talked to all 32 teams.
When you look at Northern Iowa, man, I talked about the NFL pipeline. They've had a lot of guys drafted, but you would be the first defensive tackle drafted since 1991. When you hear that, man, what would it mean to you to be the next defensive lineman to be drafted out of Northern Iowa?
It would be an incredible feeling because I've seen some really really good dudes come through here. Some really good dudes, like two-time Defensive Player of the Year dudes, dudes that played 6 years in the NFL. And if I get the chance to hear my name drafted, it's gonna be a special feeling. But I know the job's not done. I'm trying to be in the league 6 to 8 to 10 plus years. So it's gonna be a great feeling though for sure.
One last question about your Shrine Bowl performance. How would you rate your performance, man? Did you achieve everything you wanted to? And when you started getting the accolades to all practice teams, the defensive player of the weeks, what did that mean to you in terms of just your preparation for that event on the biggest stage with all those Power Five helmets and everything, man? For you to go out there and show out like you did, man, what did that mean to you?
It meant a lot because I always feel like when my recruiting process started in high school, I feel like I should have been Power Five, and when I got the chance to compete against dudes like that, I was like, yeah, I got to show them like that I belong, and I'm better than a lot of these dudes, and I feel like I got to do that. I definitely could improve on some things. Like I lost some not team reps, not really lost, but like I could have did better, a lot better. I should have made more plays during the game. I feel like stuff like that, and I feel like it's just something great to improve on.
When looking back at your career at Northern Iowa, man, is there a game that sticks out to you as your best memory from playing at the collegiate level at UNI?
I would definitely say probably 2019, my redshirt freshman year when we beat South Dakota State to go to the semifinals to play James Madison. Really because them dudes smashed us like 3 weeks before that, like 31, 35-6 or something like that at their spot, and we knew that we are gonna have to face them again in the playoffs in the second round. And when the time came, they basically were overlooking us, looking at James Madison already because it's like, oh, we already smashed these dudes, blah blah blah. And then we came out, we beat them on their home field, 13-6. I'm pretty sure defense balled out, offense did enough, and it was just a great feeling.
When you look at your game, is there an NFL player or multiple NFL players that you think your game models the most?
Uh, I would say definitely, just looking back at this Super Bowl, Mike Pinnell, he dominated that game. He did his thing. And, I feel like that's really the type of player that I am, being versatile in the pass rush game, but then just dominating the run game. If he's not getting double teamed, he's making plays every play. And, I feel like, that's something I could do in the league.
And you mentioned that you're able to play multiple different positions along the defensive line. Where do you feel most comfortable? Is it that three tech, or could you slide out to the five if needed, or even play nose? Just in your opinion, where do you feel most comfortable along the defensive line?
To be honest, I feel like I could play 0 to 3 tech really well in the league. I don't really have a favorite. I don't really know which one I feel like I'm best at, but anywhere from a 0 to a 3, I feel like I could play in any of those spots.
Man, I love it. As an offensive lineman, man, that's the position I played. Those defensive linemen on the interior that can play both of those spots, man, they're a problem, a real problem. But looking at your game, what's the number one mistake an offensive lineman can make against you one on one?
Give me his chest. If I feel like he's sitting back, I'm gonna take his chest and I'm gonna put my chin under his helmet and I'm gonna try to drive him back to the quarterback. I feel like that's the biggest thing you could do against the worst thing you could do against me.
Man, you got one play to get to the quarterback. What's your go-to pass rush move?
And definitely any power rush. If I feel like he's leaning forward a little bit, then I could double arm swipe him. I could boom and pull him, but I feel like he's leaning back. Then I'm just gonna take his chest and boom to the quarterback.
Man, I love it. When you look back just throughout the Missouri Valley, I mean, you guys played a bunch of great Power Five teams. The Valley's been loaded since you've been there as well. Who are one or two of the best offensive players you've ever had to face?
Well, definitely Trey Lance and Christian Watson. Two dudes was crazy. Christian Watson scored basically a game-winning touchdown against us like 2 years in a row, where I feel like we had North Dakota State beat, but then he had like a kickoff return, and then he had like a long bomb in back-to-back years. Trey Lance, of course, like I said, in 2019, he was special. Um, Definitely. Well, this past year, that freshman running back from Iowa State, he made some plays against us, and he didn't really have like a crazy game against us, but later that year, I mean, he balled out that year. I'm pretty sure he's a freshman All-American, and dudes like that, it was special going against them type of dudes.
Man, when I was playing, I was very superstitious, man. I always had to wear the same type of stuff, listen to the same playlist. For you, to walk me through your pregame routine on Saturdays.
Basically we played at 4 o'clock, kind of like a weird time at UNI home games. I wish it was a lot earlier. I wish it was like 12 o'clock, pick up, eat pregame meal, then go play. But usually I wake up, take a shower, we have pregame meal, go back to the crib for like an hour, chill, watch some highlights of my favorite players, Quentin Williams, Aaron Donalds, dudes like that. Get myself in that game mode, get to the stadium, jump in that hot tub, cold tub, contrast, throw my stuff on, get stretched out, bump my music, bump my playlist, a lot of G Herbo, Lil Baby, all them, and just lock in and then watch some of my highlights. See me dominate dudes, and try to go out there and do the same thing.
Man, I love it. What's next for you, man? You've checked off the Shrine Bowl, checked off the Hula Bowl. What's next in your pre NFL draft process, just in terms of preparation?
The pro day for sure. I got some 30 visits with some teams set up already. So I'm just getting ready to do stuff like that. I feel like I got snubbed from the combine for sure though.
He got snubbed.
uh, yeah, that was my route. He's going to the combine though, deservedly. So, but yeah. So I'm just getting ready for pro day. I'm at UNI March 18th, and I got some 30 visits set up, and I'm ready to get to it.
You definitely were snubbed, man. Listen, I don't know if you got to meet him. Our guy Gerald Huggins works as one of the scouts for the Shrine Bowl, man. And he texted me when all the combine stuff, because he knows I'm the FCS guy, and he was like, dude, you got to call someone to get Khristian on there. He was like, that's ridiculous. He was like, he was the best defensive lineman at the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's ridiculous. But man, I don't know if you can say. I mean, which teams do you have the 30 visits with, or can you not release that yet?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I can. I don't see why not. I mean, I've got Arizona Cardinals set up. I got the Lions. I got the the Colts and the Seahawks set up so far.
Oh man, I love it. And when I guess you've already probably been asked this question in the draft process, but I always like to end the interviews with this, man. If an NFL franchise asks you what they're going to get in Khristian Boyd if they select you in the upcoming NFL draft, man, what would you tell them?
Well, I'm gonna be straightforward and say you're gonna get a force on that defensive line. I feel like I bring it every day, whether it's practice, whether it's during the workouts or in the game. I'm gonna bring it, and I feel like I'm a great dude to have in the locker room. I love to have fun with the game of football. I love to have fun. I feel like dudes, I feel like I bond well with dudes. They're just gonna get somebody that's gonna bust their tail every single day and give it they all, short and sweet like that.
Man, I love it. Listen, I don't say this on every interview, man, but this is a guy, guys, that should hear his name called in the upcoming NFL draft, man, especially after the Shrine Bowl performance, all the American Christian, man. I appreciate you taking a little bit of your time, man, to come chop it up with me. Let people know where they can follow your NFL draft journey, man, and follow your NFL career moving forward on social media.
KW.9 on Instagram, and then Khristian Boyd on Twitter.
Man,
Thank you, man.
oh man, anytime, man. Listen, I'm expecting to hear your name, like I said, called in the upcoming NFL draft, guys. Make sure to go follow Khristian, all social media, man. We got to support these FCS guys as they go through their NFL draft journey into their NFL career. But for myself, for my guy Khristian Boyd, this has been the Blue Bloods, man, and we'll be back next time.